What do you
on tour, baby. What happens
on tour?
We on tour, we on tour, we on tour, baby.
Hi guys, we're on tour.
We're on tour, baby.
We just bite, we don't just
on tour, baby. Yeah.
Hey yo, what it is, good people, my disputed folks. Welcome back to another episode of Disputed Pods on Tour. Podcast on Tour here in Africa Games Week 2024. And we are here with D and Kumo and Nico.
But wait, I want to change the name. So this is called the Kumo Cape Corner, right? It's not podcast on tour. We're switching it up. And we're still rolling, right?
Yeah.
So we have Dean all the way from Kenya, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
How's it, Dean? How you doing?
I'm awesome. Loving Cape Town. Not as cold as it normally is, which is awesome.
I feel like it's Kuna, but it was colder this year. Was it me?
Okay.
Global warming, bruh. Global.
It's moving, man. It's moving fast.
It's moving. But Dean, you are from a studio in Kenya, and you guys are doing amazing work. Can you tell us about your studio name and the game that you're busy working on?
So my name is Dean, CEO and game producer at Kunta Content. We are an African studio. We build great African games. That's like our core focus. The name Kunta Content is inspired by Kunta Kinte. And especially the story of being like a prince who becomes a slave, who inspires a revolution and a really cool story. And we feel like the African story has some similarity to that, where we were royalty, and then there was a slavery period across most of the continent, and now we are trying to refigure out what next for us.
Yeah. And what does Kunta say? Don't call me Tobe. My name is Kunta. Okay, shout out, my dude. Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah.
I just have a slight question about, because I've seen the graphics of the game and like it looks absolutely awesome. And that is African content that I would gladly love to, consume on a daily basis because I love games like that, right? Just want to quickly ask you, what inspired the game? What made you come up with such a concept and, actually run with it?
Yeah, so we were actually talking about it yesterday. Basically, when we were all young playing games, a lot of the games we played were the GTA, Scarface, Call of Duty, etc. Essentially very Western games. But I think really critically is that they don't look anything close to our reality. You play this really cool, perfect-ish game, perfect roads, perfect houses, perfect everything, white picket fence and all.
You think Africans are perfect? This guy.
I'm just saying some of those white suburbs look awesome, right? And you step outside your house and you're like, yo, this is different. It's not, you're from a 10-hour game session. Yeah, it's different. And what we kept realizing is you sort of could see yourself in other types of stories. You could see yourself in movies. You could see yourself in music. You'd have a lot of local music. But in games, you don't really have that. Yeah. And then even worse, it kind of makes it weird because the amount of time we play games as players is really high in comparison to movies and everything else. And you get really deeply immersed. So it kind of fucks with your psyche. Oh, sorry, can I say?
Yeah, no,
oh,
feel
okay.
free.
We're gonna beep him. We're gonna beep you later.
It kind of messes with your psyche. And for me, that was really the starting point, like 10 years old and being like, this is kind of off. And not even knowing that representation was a thing, that black people don't really make games, Africans don't really make games, but just knowing that this is kind of off.
Yeah. No, man, I mean, like to your point, you said gaming is the final African frontier, right? Like you said, music is doing numbers, movies is doing things, fashion is doing things. So gaming is like, and I think for me it's like, you've seen Africans in all these other mediums and we kick ass. So now it's gaming and you're not ready for what's gonna come shove it down your throat, like awesomeness. So, but your game, it's called Hiru. Am I pronouncing it right? And what does Hiru mean, by the way? Is that the hero's name, or can you tell us more about the game?
Yeah, it's a few different levels. So first, how the Maasai, which is the principal tribe we are referencing in the game, how we say hi to each other is Ero.
Oh, hero.
right? So that's a small part of it. Then there's the hero element, which is you play as the character hero. Then there's hero, right, where you're the hero of the story. We've gotten a few jokes around how the name sounds Japanese,
Oh,
Yes, actually, yeah.
okay.
and some. I think when you're talking to the rest of the world about African tribes, culture, etc., it's always helpful to have a slightly good comparison. And I think certain African communities like the Zulu, the Maasai have like samurai connections and like Viking connections and the Knights of England and so on. That's just warrior culture that is really, really good at fighting other communities and other tribes and colonialists, right? And we also find that to be somewhat true about the Maasai. So it has like a few different layers that sort of came together and we were like, okay, this is kind of cool.
I didn't know about because the Maasai are really famous, right? I guess like globally we know them with their beautiful red, I don't know, yeah, the name. And I love the way that standing style, that badass, and then with the spears. I don't know, I think maybe they've never been portrayed as warlike though, and as fighting. Is it a big thing? Like were they really heavy with against the colonization and
and it's actually kind of crazy that they were one of the only tribes in most of Africa that the British didn't attack.
because they didn't want the smoke.
They were like, no, we don't want this. Yeah, they're like, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk,
You see a
please.
dude on the
Yeah.
on the horizon like this.
Yeah, and they'd had stories, right? So the Maasai are kind of closer to the center of Africa. So in their journey from the coast, from the Indian Ocean to the center, they were told by every other tribe, don't fuck with those guys. Yeah, you don't want that.
yeah, they were
we
told,
don't want it.
If you keep going that way, you're
Yeah.
gonna find trouble.
Yeah,
Find the trouble you're looking for.
yeah. And
Wait, can I get into? Did you really have to go like? Do Maasai have to go like a kill a lion or something?
Yes.
As a show of strength.
yes. So, and to make it even crazier,
Don't kill Kamani, bro.
Come on, bro.
we'll be fine, we'll be safe. Yeah, and to make it even crazier, it's like at the age of 7, like 8 years old. So you're a young boy who's supposed to become a man, and you're basically Sparta, like you're thrown off into the wilderness, and you're told go kill a lion, come back with a head.
At 7,
Yeah, at 7.
lying.
No, for real. Yeah, one of our developers, his dad killed a lion.
One of the guys in your team.
Yeah.
Like 30 years ago, not that long ago. He even has the scratches. It's
You're
insane.
lying,
It's
bruh.
insane. It's
You're
insane.
lying.
We were like, no, you have to show us. Yeah.
Damn, it's
And
so
it scratched
interesting.
him, and like
Yeah.
they caught him.
Yeah.
But I think it's so interesting to hear all these African stories because outside of my world or my worldview of Africa, like I would have never known that this is a rite of passage and it's actually a normal thing in some of these countries.
Yeah.
But actually, going back to the game and what has brought us here, I just want to quickly ask, what do events like this, coming to Africa Games Week and some of the events like this, how have they helped you or your team actually develop your project further and take it to where it's at right now?
Yeah, so a weird thing for an African studio is figuring out how to get people to just know about you and just to go deeper. Because, yeah, you can do the traditional stuff, emails, meeting people, etc. But events like this allow you to go a bit deeper, where you actually connect at a human level. And one of the things we've realized is you want people that have conviction and love for your project, not just people who see it at some point on Instagram and then they swipe past and they never see it again, right? And I think events like this allow us to do that really, really deeply, where we're able to hang out a couple of minutes, couple of hours, get to meet at different events. And at the end of that, I'm really familiar with your project, you're really familiar with ours, and we're able to go really, really deep. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And how have you been finding Africa Games Week this year?
It's been interesting. It's been a smaller one, I'd say, but also more intimate.
Are you here every year?
This is the third one. Yeah, this is the third one. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Was able to make it to the VIP day, which was really cool. Yeah, and Cape Town is generally a vibe. It's generally a lot of fun.
And your studio, you mentioned like, how big is the studio? What do the people do? What does the Lion Man do? What do you call him? The Lion Killer. What's his what? Lion Slayer.
Son of the Lion Killer.
Yeah.
Son of the Lion
So
Killer.
what is the different roles in the studio like? And how long have you guys been going as a studio? Like,
Okay. Yeah. So we've been in different forms. We've been working on the game for like 4 years now. We started November 2020. We've been essentially part-time for like 3 years as we were trying to figure out the idea, trying to figure out what it will take to make this type of game, and then also getting funding and support and so on. Yeah, we did that for like 3 years, did very many different builds. There was a point we thought the game would be like a cattle herding simulator, where you herd cattle and that's the main game, right? Luckily, it's no longer that. It's a part of the game, but it's not the whole thing. And that allowed us, I think, to get really close as a team. So we are 4 in the technical side. In total, we are 5. I lead writing, design, and producing. So going out, talking to people, looking for money, all that stuff. We have 2 programmers who do both the logic and the gameplay. And then we have an artist who also does animation. Yeah, so we are a small, really tight, but kind of deep team.
Hey man, but it be like that, right? In terms of like being multi-talented. We talked about AKA earlier. So now we are the multi-talented team. We have the multi-talented. Internationally recognized. Globally accepted.
Do not want to mess with their self-esteem.
But you mentioned the cow herding.
Yeah.
I know it's not the Maasai, I think, or it's not Kenya. There's a tribe that runs on these, I think they get the boys to run on top of cows when they're to prove their manhood or something, or when they're ready to, like, I think show off in front of honeys or something. Like, I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere there, but then also I've heard, I don't know if this, I think this is Maasai, where like I think they take they take milk and then they like drink with cow blood.
Yes.
Is that a Maasai thing?
Yeah.
What is it? What's the meaning behind it? Or
yeah. So it's actually both interesting and weird at the same time. So
makes a strawberry milkshake.
Yeah, because they mix blood and it's fun. It's fun.
Have you had it before?
Yes, I have. There's even a point we went and they killed a goat, but then as part of the killing, they stab the vein. And you're supposed to kneel and suck the blood out of the animal.
While it's going down.
Yes, while it's dying. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Very salty.
Why they change with the milk? It becomes more like, it turns it, but is there a spiritual meaning? It's obviously cultural and ancestral, right?
Yeah, it's cultural, it's nutritional, and a bit spiritual. So the reason they do it is you're in the middle of nowhere. They don't really hunt other animals, so they don't hunt gazelles, antelopes, and all that stuff. Partly because of culture, partly because you're more likely to get diseases and stuff like that. But they also don't kill their own animals, right? Because that's their wealth, right? So the more cows you have, the wealthier you are. So they take a bow and arrow, they pierce a small hole in the neck of the cow. It sputs for like a couple of minutes. They put like a gourd next to it. They fill it up with blood. And then they milk this same cow or a different cow, doesn't matter. And then they mix that. And that's like their source of protein and sometimes even carbohydrates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, the goat survives, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't die.
Yeah.
Okay, well. But then wait. When you eat, what's his name called? The Kenyan braai. What do you guys call it? Namachoma, what?
Oh, nyamachoma, yes.
Yeah, when you get down with that then, if you don't kill your own goats, bruh.
No, that's when we kill them. We destroy. Yeah. Chop it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to Kunta content, I know we got so much African content out of this interview, and I feel very African now.
Oh, awesome.
I feel very, very African now, and just going back to Kunta content, and in closing, right? We wouldn't want to keep you here all day. You know?
I'm game.
I'll keep him all day, but we talk about Africa. African games,
African stories will never end. So going back to Kunta content and Hiru, would you like to give us maybe more insight on where we can be able to check out some of your trailers, maybe some of the work that you've put out, any prototypes? And,
Yeah, so we're doing a bit of a Kickstarter right now.
Okay.
And also releasing on Steam in a couple of weeks. So people can jump on.
Where's the crowd in the back?
Our website is kuntacontent.com.
Okay.
We are Kunta Content on most social media. Also, the game has its own Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Yes.
The big thing we want to do is to tell stories that Africans can be proud of. So made in Africa by Africans for the rest of the world. You could be a kid in Texas, you just watch Nat Geo, and you've always wanted to play an African style game. We got you. Yeah.
Just hearing that gives me goosebumps because seeing that trailer that you guys have.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The trailer's gonna magically appear in front of our faces. Like
Yes,
now.
yes.
Trailer appear.
The transition.
But also I think maybe we should quickly talk about, you're also on the Xbox ID program, right?
Yes, yes.
You got people be able to buy your game on Xbox.
Yes.
And what is that? How's that gonna be?
So Xbox is an interesting partner to work with because they essentially created this program called Developer Accelerator Program that allows especially underserved developers, creators to release on their platform and to get the funding to try and release on the platform. And we have been part of that program for I think like 7 months now.
Okay.
They've been great partners, not only with the money, but also the mentorship and the tools and the resources they have. It's a really interesting opportunity for a lot of African devs to consider, apply, keep applying. And hopefully it allows you to build the game you really want to build.
And another thing is that I always have in my head is people only think a game is a game when it's on console. So, right? Now when you're like, it's on the phone, they're like, it's okay. It's on Xbox though. And you're going to be on the Xbox One. What's the new one? It's the One.
Nah, it's the Series.
Oh, guys.
The Series X.
Don't expose my age, bro. But that's really amazing, man.
Yeah, the name is crazy though. Like the Xbox naming. Like,
right. I mean, look, I remember actually even seeing you. You guys were trending at one point, I think on Twitter or something, where people were talking about, I don't know if they saw an article of yours or a video of yours, and people were going crazy.
Yeah. This was like, I think 2 years ago. Someone saw a trailer on YouTube, downloaded it, and then posted it on Twitter. So for like a week, it got...
You were doing numbers, nah?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
So we're excited. The continent is excited.
Yes.
We really enjoy it.
For one, I'm very excited. I'm getting that game.
Awesome.
I'm adding it to my wish list.
Awesome.
Today.
Awesome.
I gotta make a CD. You send us a CD. You know how like go back old school.
Yeah.
with the photo album.
Yeah. The exclusive edition.
Yeah, exclusive. With a really cool poster.
Yeah. Oh man. Ooh.
Oh damn it! But would you get the spear too? Because I think what kind of weapons does he have? He has the spear and.
You have a spear. You have a shield. You have a short sword. Kinda like an assegai, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been great. Thank you so much for your time, Mr.
Thank
Dean.
you for having me.
We wish you all the best with winter content.
Thank you.
Support the Kickstarter while they're saying goodbye. The Kickstarter, and hopefully we'll get you back on, like maybe like when we're about to launch.
Yeah.
A virtual launch party.
Yeah. Hang out here. Yeah. Show our South African brothers what
And
you're
next
working
year
on.
we'll come back and talk about like the success.
And how Hiru has been doing.
No pressure, but yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's so exciting being an African game developer, especially right now. And I can't wait to see even more games that I think show more of our culture. It's kind of lonely, like it's kind of lonely where you're like 5 guys on the continent, 10 guys of the continent who are showing African culture, showing African people. Yeah, so looking forward to more games.
No, man, it's but this is the stuff that is going to inspire the next developers, right?
Yeah.
Some kid is watching, play the game, is watching this, is watching you trending, is watching you, following you on Insta, and they're getting hyped. So I guess we just have to, keep pushing, man.
Yeah.
Jiggy.
Yeah.
And we're all over the world. It's been your host with the most.
If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed,
AKA the biggest shark.
the Sharky.
In the multi-universe.
Hey yo, what is up, my disputed people? Welcome back to segment 2 of Podcast on Tour. We're here in Africa Games Week 2024 at the Watershed Workshop 17, and we are here with a very special guest. The guy before us told us that you are the Oga of African gaming. So can you please, Oga, just give us a brief intro as to who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Oscar Michael, and I'm the founder of Africa Communicate. which is basically a launch pad for stakeholders in the African video games, immersive and interactive media industry. Yeah.
And where are you guys based?
Based in Nigeria, we shuffle all across Africa though. We have team members across the continent, and we used to shuffle especially between Ghana and Nigeria, but we're registered and based in Nigeria.
And currently, is there anything that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, yeah, definitely. You can look out for the games from our studios. So we've built a community of communities, right? Across the continent, there are many game development communities. And our idea was like, hey, it's a small continent. It's big, right? But in the games industry, we don't have so many people. And so we need to come together, share our resources, and see how we can create a front for us to access those opportunities that we can't access as individuals. So what we do is we have lots of game studios in our community, and then we promote their works, we promote the founders. For the developers, we look out for jobs, exchange programs, training opportunities for them. And really that's what we do. So if you're looking out for anything, look out for the project in our community. Yeah.
Oh, you've really said a mouthful. So how long have you guys been?
5 years. We've been running for 5 years now. Myself, I've been in the industry for about a decade. I used to be a game developer, and I used to be a games facilitator, teaching people how to build games. Fun fact, my co-founders were once my students. Yeah. But then the business side was greatly missing. Like, after learning how to build games, what do? The only opportunities were out there. I mean, I could say South Africa is better. You have more opportunities here than almost out there. And most people, if you're not traveling out, there's no opportunity for you to practice. So I was like, okay, what is the problem? And I realized we don't have enough game studios. And when we moved on to starting, okay, let's help people start studios, realized the problem is not just starting a studio, starting a sustainable studio, a studio that can make money and grow. And
the
that's
business
where,
side, yeah.
Exactly. And that's what made me just say, okay, you know what? I went to Ghana to study software entrepreneurship. There I got to live with about 54 people from 13 different African countries. And that's how the idea started. Because before then, I was mainly based in Nigeria. But then I was like, hey, our problems are similar across the continent. So let's come together and do something.
Can I ask you, I mean, you sustainable business, right? And I've said this at the office, but people think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I want a Porsche. Okay? This, whatever we're doing, right? It's we love what we're doing, but it also has to become a business.
Definitely.
Right? It has to grow, so when it becomes successful, we can hire more people.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it all works together, and we can become bigger and stronger. I really love the fact that that is the focus, because there are a lot of yes, it's small, but we have more developers than the business side of things. So how many teams then have you worked with? Because I think you said you've been around for 5 years, right?
Yes.
So how many teams have you worked with in that time?
Altogether in our community, we have more than 30 game studios actively interacting with us. We have a program called the ARC Fellowship. So we came up with something called the ARC Initiative. And under that, we have the ARC and the SPARC. The SPARC is for people who want to join the industry. The ARC is for people who want to run business, game studio founders. And what we built is an ecosystem. Well, in the SPARC, you can go through our training and all, and then internship is almost certain for you because we have studios who are looking to fundraise. But then you go to intern with them, you learn on the job. While the studios, if they are able to fundraise and all, then they can hire from that same ecosystem. But we also try as much as possible not to sell the industry to the public. I mean, to the investors, of course. It's a $200 billion industry. You can make money here. But for you, a creative or not, it's important, it's not a poverty alleviation scheme. If you don't get it right, you will suffer.
But I guess that's creativity, right? The creative industry is, there's no recipe, right?
Exactly.
And you might hit it with the, or you could be like an artist for 10 years without a hit. But
Exactly.
But I mean, the company can live for 10 years.
Yes, that is something. Exactly.
Every project,
And just as you said, you don't know what's going to work. The project you are most passionate about might not be the one.
It might not be, it's a cool, and the one that you care about the least
can be one closer. But what is important is we need to create systems where people can continue creating in at least a safe space where you can fail in a safe place. Because as creatives, the whole idea of creativity is failure. You fail. If you look at the music industry, yes, they have great top musicians, but it's like 1% always of the other upcoming artists that for 10 years, 20 years, they are still upcoming.
But even in an album, you know how there'll be like 2 fire songs
Exactly.
in an album,
In
and
the
there's like
normal.
10 trash songs. You're like, bro.
So that's how the industry is as well. But what the games industry suffers now is that building games is very expensive.
Yeah.
Unlike music, where it's easier to create, you can just go to a recording studio. For
Boom,
games,
boom, boom,
it takes more time, it takes more people, and it's more expensive. So that's what we're trying to do: create that safe space for them to build. We push out, hoping to catch something huge from one of them.
I wonder, because I mean, it's how do we make the building ease quicker? So right now at the office we are doing like prototypes, né?
Yeah.
So we're also getting resources, assets. Sorry, let me say rather assets that maybe are starting to pile up. So I wonder if that will help us if we have like something where people can come and take assets and they take whatever they need. I need code for this, or I need a startup hack project.
Yeah.
Because I have an idea. Maybe I just want to have some crazy shooting, right? I don't need to. Do I need to build everything else before the credits? Because I still need to build health bar. I still need to do health damage. But now that takes time. All I want to do is the shooting thing first. So if we already had like a pack, where you can just come in.
Yes.
Collect the resources that you need.
And as a base at least, and then you put your sauce on top.
For assets generally, there are lots of assets there. Free
But they're not even
assets you
African,
can
assets
buy.
online.
But for African assets, a lot of work has gone into having that repository where people can go. Something open source that people can use.
Is it there already, or do you think?
So a lot of people have tried it.
Okay.
The simple truth is, even on that community aspect, we are still learning. The simple truth is, look, my brother, we are hungry. Both of us are hungry, and we are building on survival mode. Which makes building something really exceptional very difficult.
Yeah.
But even globally, I mean, there's the Afro Air Library, where they're like black air in games is shit.
Oh, yeah?
So some group of artists came together to start creating a repository of 3D assets of different hairstyles that
So
are
you just
really
come and drop
African.
and take it.
And people can go take that.
We actually, we actually spoke about this earlier.
Really?
Yeah. So,
No, there is. There's like 2 organizations working on it already from the US, and artists are contributing.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress. And I think what I've come to see is the more people get comfortable doing what they are doing, the more they're able to give back.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not putting pressure on them to do that. We have that in our plans.
Yeah.
But the first thing is invest in the community, then the community invests back.
Well, I mean, but also they're talking about it. They're having the conversations. Now you've illuminated our minds. Now whoever watches this, because we know the Killmonger hairstyle.
We actually posted that on African Comic.
Problem with Killmonger.
Is this the only hairstyle in Africa?
I don't
Echo
hate it.
has the same hairstyle.
I don't hate it. Now I'm gonna say I don't hate the Killmonger. Okay?
no, kill the Killmonger.
It's cool, but there's more.
Yeah.
Well, there's more what Chiskop. And I didn't even shave. Hey, don't judge me at home.
But it shouldn't be the only hairstyle. It's a cool hairstyle, but it shouldn't be the only one that represents. Because every video game that you play as a black character, when you try to look for a black hairstyle, it dreads to the side. And I'm there like,
Intergalactic had it. Come on.
You know what? And Kamani got there like the young Killmongerish. Not the full one, but fine.
the young one.
The
Yeah.
young one.
Uh-huh.
But I want to say, I mean, it's for me, I'm really probably the most beautiful thing is just engaging with other people from the continent, right?
True.
I mean, you're from Nigeria, Lagos. I want to visit Nigeria, bruh, so badly. So I want to even do a year. Not even like I want to just come in and out. I want to stay there. And this guy at work, Gideon, he said I must go to. What do you say? What's the other one? Abuja.
Abuja,
I bet
yeah.
it's
Nah,
less hectic than Lagos.
Abuja is just rich men politicians vibe.
it?
Come to Lagos.
For the
Come
real-
and feel the
Oh
hustle.
God! So I can have a gari, I'm coming to. Oh, and then some. Is it fufu?
Fufu and egusi.
Agusi.
Yeah.
I've had it. It's good. The one with the pumpkin seeds.
The
Which one is that?
pumpkin. I'm not sure, but it looks somehow reddish and white
Oh,
stuff.
no,
Yeah.
I think I had the green one.
Okay, the green one.
Yeah,
The
what's-
vegetable one.
I forgot
Nice.
the name. But okay, but mind you, you said you lived in Ghana. Who's the better one? You know the argument of the world. The Jollof of the world. Who's the better Jollof?
Okay.
And you're
Ghanaian
Nigerian,
rice is Jollof rice. Eh?
Jollof. Okay.
Jollof rice. Nigerian rice is Jollof rice.
Oh.
It's the same way the Kenyans have pilau. We leave it for them.
Yeah. Guys, we are getting into politics of the... Don't start a war. But even Jollof and Jollof.
It's the accent, so it affects the way it's prepared.
My man, I'm going to come there and I'm going to eat all of the Jollof.
Yeah.
Just in closing and going back to, Africa Games Week and what brings you guys here. So what do you think events like this actually help with in terms of like the industry and growing the industry? How has it helped you coming to events like this? Because I'd like to imagine that you haven't been here. This is like your first time here, right?
This is my first time Africa Games Week. I've been to Josie mostly.
Oh, yeah.
But this is my first time in Cape Town as well, yes. And I think events like this are very instrumental. At Africa Communicate, we run our own convention, just like this as well.
dope.
It's called the Gamaton, and it's been running for 6 years.
Mm.
Yeah. So in fact, Africa Communicate started with the Gamaton. So we did the Gamaton and we're like, you know what? We're not just going to organize events where people are coming to talk and all. There needs to be more. And that's how we started building these programs around that, because you need to support people all through, not just the one-off. So, but what events like this do is it gives you the opportunity to connect with people physically.
Yeah.
You see, there are people I've met here, I've been working for like 4 or 5 years, but just virtually.
Yeah.
But when we see, the bond is stronger. And that's something this gives you. So, in business, they say show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Virtually, you can just piece up 1 or 2 together, make it look good. But yeah, you're meeting people, you're showing them what you do, you're having heart-to-heart discussions. And that's why event like this is very important, because it builds that bond and trust that is really needed to build business, especially in an industry like ours. It's a small
A
industry.
very small industry.
So in 2 years, you can know everybody if you're serious.
Well, when I come to I just want to tell them at the office there, you hear there's an event in Nigeria, eh? Look, okay, okay, fine, I'll go. Oh, if you need someone to go, I'll go. Jeez, don't beg me, man. But when is it? So when's the next one? What's the next
September
event?
29th to October 4.
Okay.
Every year.
Every year, yes. That last week of September and the first week of October. Merges it
How's the
together.
weather? What's the weather like at the time?
It feels like summer, but it's hot.
Yeah, because you guys are
this is winter,
You
yeah.
guys are northern, but you're northern hemisphere more, so you guys are like in winter now, right?
There's nothing winter about Nigeria, but the hustle makes everywhere hot. It's like it's like a demo, a prototype of Air Fire. But with vibes.
Hey, shout out. But please give us your contact details, like your...
Yes. So LinkedIn, for the company all across all social media platforms, Africa Communicate. And for myself, Michael Oscar is here on LinkedIn. That's the best place to reach me. Yeah.
Shout out, man. No, it's a blessing, bro.
Thank you so much. Have you liked? Have you subscribed? Please do right now. Disputed People Game.
And tell people who's your favorite host.
It's not a competition because
It's a competition.
I'm already miles ahead of you.
I mean, I'm a special guest.
Oh, yes.
I only pull up when I'm needed. The ratings were dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome to the greatest video game show
In the world.
In the world. Hey, welcome to Podcast on Tour.
What's up?
What's happening? We're with Danae from Finsta.
Finter. It's Finter.
I think Finsta now.
People like putting an S in there, but
Is it? Oh, it's not just me. Sorry.
there's no S.
From Finta. Sorry. But yeah, Danae, can you please introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself and your company?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. My name is Danae Roll. I am one of the founders of Finter, where we use games to teach young people about money. That's as simple as it is.
Where do they get this money, these young people? I know they have like paper routes and then... But that's amazing. I mean, like it's it's a very big thing, right? And because obviously, like, and the kids, if they learn this, I'm sure the idea is that if they learn the right behavior from a young age,
Exactly.
they don't get into the traps as adults.
Exactly. Interestingly, the research says that kids develop their money habits and mindsets from age 3 to 7, right? So before anyone is speaking to us about money, we're already developing the fundamental mindsets that's going to help us or withhold us from making good money decisions when we're older.
I want to kind of work, like, how has it been making this game? I mean, because you are, is it for 3 to 7-year-olds that I can imagine the age group? What's it plus?
No, not yet. Yeah, so our game, Fin Master, is actually aimed at a little bit of an older demographic. So think how you played Monopoly as a family, but it works best with kind of teenagers and older people together. And the journey was amazing. It's actually a fun story. The first version we created was packaged in a pizza box with beads as player tokens. And people kept buying it even though it was actually kind of crappy. And that just made us actually take the game seriously and spend some time on it.
I like the fact that it's a physical game. You know, you don't get a lot of these days. So you'd get a game like this, but digital.
Yeah.
Like you get an app of it. So something that I can see and touch and play with my friends is something I'd like to buy.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What was the pizza like? How long have you been to, what do you call it? As an operator as a company then?
So, officially, we started the company in 2020, but we did more traditional financial literacy before then. And then since last year, we've been focusing on specifically using games and gamification and on the younger demographic. So officially since the start of 2023.
And your background is in finance or?
Yeah, so we are actually trained industrial engineers, but we had personal experience with the issue of financial literacy. So I grew up in a home where money was not a very positive topic or experience. My mom went through 2 divorces and had to start over after both of them. So as a young girl, I was privileged enough to be exposed to people that had a really different experience with money. So that took me on a journey of really understanding money for myself, learning to make decisions. And when my business partner and I connected, he had a similar journey of learning about money for himself. So we had a lot of informal knowledge that we researched and obsessed. And then after doing our undergraduate studies, we also did diplomas of financial planning. So we kind of formalized the knowledge as well, but most of it is really just from a lot of reading, a lot of podcasts like this, and a lot of experience working with people.
So I have a short little question for you, Danae. Fin Master, how does it differentiate itself from other games like Monopoly and the asset collection games? So what sets Fin Master apart?
Well, firstly, it lasts only an hour and nothing more than an hour.
But do people get angry? I want to disown my family.
Not to the point of disowning, but there is a little bit of competitiveness. What is a game without it? What really sets it apart is we made it unashamedly South African. It has terminology and examples and scenarios that are so true to South Africa. And we know that limits our market for now, but we've also set it up in a way where we can then go and localize it in different markets. That's one of them. The other one is it's more intentional in terms of the learning that's built in. So we really wanted to go fun first. It's not simply a game that facilitates learning. It's a fun game with some lessons embedded into it. We were just intentional with the kind of messages that we wanted people to get while they were playing the game. And we're just obsessed with being close to our customer, getting feedback and improving the game. So that's also really a superpower that we've learned throughout this process.
You say something that reminds me of like teenagers, like learning is fun. Like,
There's public service announcement.
Yeah, but I've seen that. People don't want to read anything in the game, bro.
No, exactly. And we never even describe it anymore as a game for financial literacy. It's just a fun game about money. Because as soon as you anchor people on it's a game for learning, they're like, wait for my parents to make me play the game. Exactly. So yeah, fun first.
But now the whole construction of a board game, like what do you guys, how many pieces are they? What is the printing, the setup?
Yeah, it's so different from digital. We come from tech background, so it's really different. But at the start of the year, we committed to testing and making a new version every week. actually what's nice about that is it's kind of a low entry point to making your first prototypes. Your first prototypes can literally be drawn on paper and cut out. So that's really nice. But then also seeing the real world iteration of a product like this, every week you just change a little small thing, you print again. But yeah, I had to make some really good friends in the printing industry that will help me with quick turnaround times. But yeah, it does come with its challenges. But yeah, with the game, by far the most complex part to figure out was the box. It's quite expensive to get made. But then the rest of the components, we just iterated and partnered with printers that will not get mad at us when we obsess about the little details.
Yeah.
And we managed to pull it off with local printers. It's all locally designed, and our first batch, and we're still making a small profit on our first batch.
Fin Master is proudly South African.
There we go, proudly South African, yeah.
But should we open the box?
Yeah,
What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, you do the honors.
So this is Fin Master. Basically, you're building
Why
up...
purple, by the way? Purple is like kind of royalty, right? Is that the
Definitely.
idea?
And also it's the least boring financial, financial is always like a dark blue or a green. So we just wanted to go for something that's approachable, not intimidating.
And you got that retro, what do you call it? What's that? That art style, that American art style.
Yeah. So in all of our stuff, there's kind of this superhero narrative that flows throughout it. So even in our digital stuff, people need to become money superheroes.
Yeah.
So we decided to take that superhero narrative and take the old kind of comic style, comic style design. So yeah, basically you are collecting assets in the game. You can see the assets over here. We have all of the different asset
Is there like
classes.
a portion here? But a portion not an asset, hey.
A what?
I think is there a Porsche card in?
Oh, well, there's a classic car collection asset.
Okay.
There's also
Oh,
farmland.
get an old school 911. All right. Now we're talking my language.
Exactly. So you're collecting assets of all of the different asset classes, from savings to stocks to businesses to properties.
Retirement.
Exactly, retirement assets. That's how you build up your net worth in the game. But then the twist is...
Hey, I got the classic car collection.
Hey, look at that. That was totally planned.
It
Totally
is
planned.
called Fate.
So the twist is you have these event cards that are almost economic and just stuff that happens in life that show you which assets will get affected when you play it. So for example, when the banking industry crashed, alternative investments were doing well, but savings and stocks were not doing so well. So in your turn, you get to take control of the market and play one of these cards in the order that you want. So you can benefit yourself by playing it or wreak a little bit of havoc on everyone else's plans.
You know what you reminded me of? You know how when you listen to like these radio stations and they're talking about like markets and they're like, what the hell are these dudes talking about?
Exactly.
So now this like will start helping like a 13-year-old demystify that world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just understand
Well,
when,
it's up like
that
2 points. Cool.
Yeah, and when stuff happens in life and in the world, it's going to affect your portfolio, the worth of stuff that you own, and in a less intimidating way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, the kind of last element of the game is these power cards. So that's where the bit of screwing each other over comes in. And like I said, truly South African, so this load shedding card lets you skip someone's turn in the game.
Let me just...
Can I check some of these out?
Yeah, check it out. There's also a government tender where you have to roll a dice to get some cash in the game.
Daylight robbery.
There's robbery, unfortunately. There's identity fraud. Yeah, just some fun stuff that shakes up the game a little bit.
Are they angel investors?
Well, there is a trust fund baby card.
There's a trust fund baby.
There's a trust fund baby.
A Nepo baby.
Where can I get this game?
Yeah, I mean, we're on the socials, on Instagram and TikTok, Play Finmaster. You can order it. There's a QR code on here, but people in the audience won't see that. But yeah, search Finmaster. We have a website and we're on the socials and the links are all in there.
Because I definitely would love to play this.
Yeah.
Who's your insurance producer from Negative Power Card? So we're talking... Who's the big insurer? Not Ellen Gray.
So we were trying to get Naked on board.
Yeah.
Because they have.
They get Naked on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
You've seen the ads.
Exactly.
Naked
and then the logo can be on there.
Yeah.
Just Naked insurance, but
I like it.
That's
Protect yourself from drama. There's one that I've seen a lot of their ads because about I think they ad about the Cape Town fires. What brand was that?
I have no idea. Outsurance.
No, it doesn't more. I mean, I think they're going for more like There's an older brand, so I think they've got
Okay.
like old school fonts and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I forgot their name, man. But they've been on a big push in Joburg.
Okay, nice.
But I mean, naked for what's it worth? Are you trying to be cooler now, bruh?
You trying to be cool?
Get naked on
Fin Master.
On Fin Master, bruh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a family game, so the messaging is still a bit twisted there, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I really wouldn't mind picking this up and playing it on one of the game days, you know?
Yeah,
The
please
game
do.
nights that I have, this would actually be a great game to pick up
Exactly.
with my friends.
Yeah, what we're
family.
most excited about the game is whenever we put it out there and we start. Firstly, we're just so proud of the product. We try not to talk about it and just let people experience
Yeah.
it. But secondly, without fail, there is laughter that's happening. There's energy that's being generated.
There's
I
competitiveness.
found the trust fund,
There we
baby.
go.
I found them.
And people learn
That's my
stuff.
homie
Whenever
now.
we ask them, people learn stuff. So yeah, that's all we can hope for.
And how long did it take you guys to develop and actually come up with this whole game idea and make it work? Because
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing that would break me in a board game is actually making all my ideas work, because I have so many ideas I want to throw at it. So
It's such a fine line to tread also, and to not overcomplicate stuff, to keep it simple enough so kids still can play it, but accurate enough so we're not, creating fake news out there about money. So it was such an interesting line to try and tread. But yeah, a lot of iteration, a lot of testing, and I would say about 6 months full time. And we started really focusing on the game at the end of last year. So we're officially launching on the 12th of December. So of 2024. So exactly a year basically since we started taking it seriously.
So
That
Fin
we're
Master
launching.
is going to be available in the next 6 days.
There we
That's
go.
so quick. That's amazing. That's amazing. Amazing. And shout out to the piggy bank. Homie with the shades, you heard?
Yeah.
That's our governess, eh? You must handle her with respect. She even signed the money with her hooves.
Oh, there's is
She
it a
signed
he or
the
she?
money. It's Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy.
Piggy, she's the governess.
Nice.
And she will be, we're having her illustrated, she will be a very fabulous African mama, rich auntie,
Oh, rich
the
auntie.
governess of
the rich,
the
the rich,
festival.
the rich auntie, yeah. The one with put up to the traditional event and they don't do nothing.
Zero.
They don't
I mean,
do
I got my face on the money.
Yeah.
On the Finta bucks. What am I going to be
Can't
doing
touch
here?
me.
Don't touch me.
She's not peeling, she's not cutting, she's not cooking, she's not making tea for nobody.
She's the one complaining about the salad, like this salad. Oh my days.
This salad is not from Woolies, bruh.
Private school.
I can taste this lettuce. This lettuce is from I don't want to say any brand.
Nah,
But it's
thank you
been
so
amazing,
much.
like having you on the show. It's really dope to see like different expressions and the other side of gaming, right? Where you can use gaming for like a great positive impact. Where
Yeah.
you're using it to teach and turn things around, all the negative around.
Exactly.
What is the goal then? Maybe say like for the company. Are you gonna keep working on Fin Master or
Yeah.
like other products and something?
Yeah. So our dream is to have a whole ecosystem of games, physical and digital, that speak to the different fundamentals of money. So we want to be the go-to kind of place for people to learn about money, for parents to find tools and games to have
teach
those
their kids
conversations
about-
with their kids and start them out. We want kids to be able to experiment and fail in safe environments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite a big dream. And, maybe even building an immersive ecosystem of games where, like I said, you're training those habits from a young age. Yeah.
I wish I had Finta when I started my photography business, because my mom always tells me, you always go to these photo shoots, but I don't see your money. I don't see your money. Where does your money go?
But also entrepreneurship finance is a whole different story.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, now that I've seen that there's actually a tool out there that I can have fun with, and it's also going to teach me how to spend my money more wisely,
Exactly.
I think I'm sold. I'm
Thank you
sold.
so much. Thanks for
I'm
having
sold.
me as well.
All right. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.
Mwah, mwah. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do, because we've got beautiful guests. I mean, look at the lovely Danae here, and look at the game she has. I mean,
What about the Diaspora? Like the
the Diaspora. Anyway, just before we end it off, we have been Disputed Pods, the podcast on tour, and we are here at Africa Games Week 2024. Please like and subscribe for more Disputed Pods.
Let's go.
What team do you support? what's your sport, first of all?
Man U, Manchester. I went to school.
No, you didn't watch football, but you didn't even know what Arsenal was. You're like, you heard about United, you heard about a pile of trash, and you're like, oh, I like that. That's what you did.
I went to school in
America,
Leeds.
right?
No, I went to school in Leeds.
In Leeds?
Yeah, so Leeds FC. I was, and Manchester is right across the way. So you had to, by extension, be a Manchester fan. So
Is Leeds next to Manchester?
yeah, it was right there. It's about an hour bus trip, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not right there. Leeds is right there.
Leeds. That's
Why do you
what I mean.
support Leeds then?
Uh,
You are being exposed, Eddie.
I'm being exposed. Yeah. I mean, I was just in there for university at the time.
Okay.
And, I was new. So by default, I had to be, a Man U fan and obviously a Leeds FC fan. So it's just like I kind of. And with that being said, welcome to another beautiful segment of Disputed Pods with Podcast on Tour, the season of Africa Games Week. And we are here with Eddie.
Hello.
Eddie.
How's it going?
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do, Eddie?
Absolutely. My name is Eddie Kamara. I'm the studio head and director at Excursion Games. We're a studio based in Kigali, Rwanda. We're working on an open world role-playing game called Project Wayfarer, and we're working on our own tech called the Wayfarer Engine. We were here showcasing that tech here at Africa Games Week. It's a little bit short notice. We were offered the VIP stand and the sponsorship about a month before we showed up, and I'm the only one here because of that. Nobody can get plane tickets to come down, so I had to kind of shepherd the team.
Shout out, my dude, all the way from Rwanda, bro.
Yeah.
How far is that flight? It's
But it's about 3.5 hours.
that's not bad.
That's not bad.
It's light work.
Yeah.
All right.
But having to go to Joburg and then take another flight here, the layover, that was the longest part. The layover was longer than the flight itself.
Wait, so it's 3 hours from Kigali to Joburg.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
another 2 hours to Cape Town.
So about I get 5 hours.
So it's a five
on
hour
the
trip.
flip. Yeah.
Okay.
But
And you
welcome,
said
dude.
you're working with your own tech and your
Yeah.
own engine. So
So we started the project in 22 when I incorporated the company. We were prototyping just other software with the game, trying to work on game mechanics, bring up, formulate the concepts, the GDDs, all of our technical specs. We take planning very, very seriously. So that first year was all planning and prototyping, see what we can do. We're a little bit reserved team. It's just like we'd rather come out and show what we can do, and we do. We don't come out publicly, and we're not going to just say, "Oh, we're going to make an open world RPG in our own engine," before we really write anything to code. So we hired our first staff wintertime or spring of 2024, like really early this year, and that's pretty much what started. We went along with the engine and starting with the open world stuff and working on the game. So we do get questions about, why don't we use current tech that's around? And it was more or less working within technical constraints for the team. Everybody has decent laptops, but not for game development. And where it's, you have to bring in talent that are artists and engineers. They're not game developers. So they wouldn't know Unity or Unreal to begin with. And, I have a passion for games. We have the expertise to put this kind of stuff together. So I want to write my own code and try to make games as efficiently as possible.
You mentioned you studied in Leeds. What did you study in Leeds?
I was studying computer science. I'm Rwandese American, so I did business school in the States as well. And I was computer science there as well. And,
Where did you live in the States?
New York, Long
New
Island,
York?
and Pennsylvania. So it's 2 states. But yeah, just around that area pretty much, yeah.
All right. Okay, because people are like, hey, he said he's from Rwanda, but he's of New York, bruh.
Yeah,
He wears Tim's, bruh. For my hooligans in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where in New York are you from? I'm asking the fun questions. You can ask them the boring tech questions.
So
Where did you live in New York?
family sort of originates, my father's Rwandese, but he started in Queens when he moved to the States, and that's where my
So
family
you're like Naz's neighbor. You're from Queens.
Yeah. And
But
then
is Queensbridge the same as Queens?
no, not really.
I don't want to get shot, bruh.
Bro, I don't want to get shot either. I'll go home and somebody's going to take real offense to that, probably.
Really?
Somebody.
Somebody. Okay.
Yeah, but more like Long Island as well. So Long Island, I see. Yeah.
Who's from Long Island? No, that's Staten Island. I was gonna say Wu-Tang's from. Guys, my hip hop knowledge is old, bro.
Oh no, don't worry about it. All right. It's okay.
But then, how has it been? So, when did you go back to Rwanda? Then you said, yeah.
So my father moved to the States. His mother, my grandmother, moved him and my uncle to the States. They were kind of trying to escape the conflicts of the 50s and 60s at the time, and trying to stay together. But I had lost my grandfather. Just vanished. You know what I'm saying? At that time during the conflict. And then we also found out, obviously in the 90s, you had the genocide in Rwanda, and a lot of my family got caught up in that. And my father didn't know if he had family left. And obviously, when I was growing up, my grandmother passed, old age, and there was no connection after that. Like there was no way for them to contact us if they could. They could find where we were. So at the time they were going to church and they found someone at the church who was Rwandese. And then they mentioned, they were connecting through there, and they said, we're going to go check. We're going to go back and see what's your last name, and we'll see if we can find your lineage. Because the Rwandese government, they're really good at keeping track of that. And they found out about my grandmother and then my father. And my father also found his family. They called him. Once that connection was made, they called them and say, some of us are still here.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, and that's how they found. So once the pandemic happened, they all moved back. My father retired, and they moved back to start building a house, a farm. Yeah. I was helping out a bit with that. And we followed suit after university. I moved there. My girlfriend followed. And I just said, I want to make games. That's where I want to start. That's what I always wanted to do anyway. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how it went down.
And what's the name of your engine?
We call it the Wayfarer Engine.
Okay.
And it pretty much specializes in open world tech, but on a budget. So we scaled back the renderer so it can run on everybody's machines making the game. And that the core features of it was to be able to large draw distances and using instancing so we can draw high detail. Oh, yeah. So you can have low overhead when it comes to assets, but you can bring out the detail with pretty much with the renderer and do it very efficiently.
And is it open source? Do we have access to it as the general public, or is it still an in-house engine?
It's still being deliberated, because obviously at events like these, things can happen, they can change, but inherently we want to do that. We want to put it in everyone's hands, developers' hands, and that's kind of the direction we're going to steer it towards. Obviously, the game itself is it's what's driving the engine. Obviously, you're developing the game, you're creating the features. You want different feature sets and graphical fidelity and ability and performance. So the longer when we're developing the game, the engine's also being brought up with that. Yeah. Towards the end, that's when we feel like releasing the engine, whether it be open source or I don't know. If we collaborate with other studios and just give them the tech, we just do that. But it's still something that's being deliberated. Yeah. And something me personally wanted to kind of do is and to contribute to the industry here on the continent and to other developers. What do we have to say?
I think you're our first guest who's ever said they're making a game engine, right? Yeah. I think everyone is more okay, they're making the game. But you're like, nah.
I'm making the thing that makes the game.
I'm making that car.
There's a lot of ambition that the team has. I'm not those engines. You're very much please do that. If you have the ability and access to that, absolutely. Yeah. We had some leeway with the technical constraints, and then having to formulate working on machines. So we're just let's also let's try and make the engine to let us build big worlds. I mean, there are ambitious games made on this continent. There aren't that many games making worlds as big as ours. Yeah. Not yet. It's coming. Yeah. But we really we're in a good position. Look, we can make technology that's good at doing that. So it gives us the ability to do that with a small team. So we're not confined within the constraints of, somebody else's software to make the game, which is, it's still pretty ambitious. Yeah. But at the same time, it gave us a unique approach to be we can actually find a way to do open worlds very efficiently on small NPCs and with using today's technology. Yeah.
We don't want to keep you here the whole day.
No, it's okay.
I want to keep you here the whole day.
just in closing, before they take the furniture while we're
No, they're
sitting
not
on
gonna take
it.
our furniture. We are working. How to find out like that's the no man. It's like all stuff like the biggest difference between America and being back home, being in Rwanda. What's the vibe like? What's the
Rwanda?
energy for you?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you meet a lot of people from a lot of African countries. They'll always say that their country is very laid back, where Rwanda's very laid back. But they're very serious. They get the job done. They have, they're all about agriculture. That is the national focus, and I respect that. Obviously, the gaming industry over there, like, and interest in gaming isn't what we would want it to be, but it's okay because I respect the national. It's developing, and they're doing a lot of great stuff for the country, and it's becoming just a wonderful place to live. And it always was. I would say when it comes to the difference, me and my family much prefer it's a little bit quieter. Rwandans, they're very reserved, and they're just like, they're hard workers.
So it matches your temperament, your family's.
Yeah. So it's just like we moved there. It's just obviously it's a lot less chaotic than living in New York in the hustle and bustle. But there is hustle and bustle in Kigali, absolutely. It's just a different vibe.
Can I ask you a question? Can you tell me, I don't know any Rwandese mythology or Rwandese gods or stories. Do you know any story like that? I've not come across any Rwandese.
So, it really boils down. It's there. It really boils down to, I would say, regional folklore legend, because you got also want to think like.
But tell me your favorite one, just one.
Ndabaga.
What's that?
Pretty much, Ndabaga. How it's a legend, pretty much local. Think not Pocahontas, Mulan. If you know Mulan, it's pretty much the same vibe. It's the same thing.
Like a girl who dresses up as a guy.
Yeah, and being a soldier. Yeah, that's a legend. And that was one of the first that I learned.
What she do? She kicked ass.
Yeah.
How many hundreds of years ago was this?
This is pretty much like they didn't really tell me the specific date, but that was like my producers, like they're filmmakers, and they were like, look at it in Ndabaga. They even said, why don't we call the game like Ndabaga Forever and base it off of that? And I was like, our game, it's more like it encompasses folklore and legend, and obviously from different cultures, whether it be religion and everything. We want to make sure we do it right, whether it be consulting cultural experts and whatnot. But when it comes to Rwandese folklore, it's more East African folklore or Central African folklore, because this stuff existed before the borders were made by Europeans. So it's just like, on our team we had Congolese, you know what I'm saying? We had Nigerian every once in a while, and it's just like in Rwandese. And it's a thing. We're still doing a whole lot of research, reading most of the stuff. Mine was the Ndabaga. That was cool. Because I was like, wait, we did Mulan first. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
It's just like, but I'd say, like, is this the traditional, like, folklore story, the Mulan, the woman empowerment?
Quick question, Eddie. What actually got you into game deving?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So, ever since my earliest memories growing up, my earliest memories playing Mario 64, way back in the day. And after that, my first console was actually an Xbox. And like a year after that, my first real serious game was Halo. So my late brother, he had gotten me the limited collector's edition with the silver box. And my Halo fans don't know what I'm talking about. It was a making of Halo 2 DVD. And it really puts you in perspective of how these things are made. And I watched that all the time. I'm a big Halo fan, but I fell in love with the game's creation. I learned a lot about that. My goodness, it spiraled from there. We had a Pentium computer, really old desktop, and I was like, let me try Blender on there. And then I actually got my start work. Blender used to have a game engine attached to it way back in the day, and it was mainly meant for prototyping and animation. But we were making games in there, just little stupid things. And
what year was this?
This was I got into this like 2010.
Yo, you were busy, bro.
I would say.
How old are you, bro? You look like you're like 12 years old, bro.
I was like,
how old are you now?
I'm 28. So around the time.
Bro, you look like you are. Like, I swear to God, if you say the 19, I mean,
I didn't remember the hair.
You're like 16, bro. I'm like, you're 100%.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, getting my start in there was working in Blender Engine.
2010, so you've been at it since it's 14 years now.
14 years ago, yeah.
No, shout out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was at it for quite a while. And, this game particularly, got its ideation in 2016. I used to live stream on when Facebook live stream was in its infancy. I used to live stream the development. I have all the live stream VODs still, and I was teaching people how to make games inside a Blender game engine, and that's how this started. Like the earliest bones, but everything, some of the stuff you saw in there dated back all the way to then, like the ideas.
What?
And then I started doing it full time in like 22 when I moved to Rwanda. I had time to do it.
Okay.
And what has been your biggest achievement so far in terms of game developing, your engine, and what it's done basically for you guys?
Meeting me is also quite a highlight.
Yeah, meeting Kumo might be one of the achievements, but I'd like to hear you more.
It's a highlight of my life. Meeting me.
It's like this event was our first sort of trade show, some sort of like conference, and us as a studio, our ideology was make the tech first. That's kind of stay low until you come up type of deal, but really prove that we have the ability to do this kind of thing. And this is the first time in my professional career that I've been able to show fellow developers, businessmen, your finance types, this game. We got a lot of great feedback, and the collaborations that come from this is going to be insane. But that, for me, was like, we showed this a month ago, and they said it's our first sponsorship, to get a stand and be able to show the game. And to be amongst some of the best on the continent, the best on the continent in what you guys do in gaming and everything, the most passionate developers, gamers, businessmen for this sector and then for this industry here. I got to be amongst all of that and have a product that was pretty strong, and I'm more than appreciative.
No, shout out, my dude. But the mere fact that you made maybe let's give the scope of the context of everything in your game. Every single thing is because it's made from you, like your engine is making.
Yeah.
So if the guy moves left, you had to build all the jazz.
The whole controller.
If the tree is everything that everyone takes for granted when you go into Unity, and there's like
all those elements and
So we're not dealing with our small fry, okay? We're dealing with our big deal. With our big deal, baby. Well done, Eddie. Really amazing, my dude.
Really amazing work, Eddie.
Likewise, you guys are doing a lot of great things with Kamani and all the stuff you guys do. Man, I was blown away. Like I said, I got to be amongst you guys and just kind of do a show.
Eddie, you're also welcome. I'm humble,
And in closing, Eddie, would you like to give maybe a shout out and
where can we reach you?
Where can we reach you? Where can you find some of your work? How do we keep in touch?
Yeah.
There's your camera right there.
Excursion Games, LTD, Excursion Games on Instagram. It's all one word. I want to shout out my team. You guys worked very hard to get to this point, and you guys couldn't make it here. And I'm doing my best for you guys. Shout out to my family, my mom and dad. I love you guys so much. You guys have seen the dream being fulfilled right here.
Nice one, Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm gonna just... Welcome to Dispute People on Tour. It's your host with the most, the biggest shark in the universe. And now we're with
James
from
Lewis.
Xbox.
That's right. Yeah.
I was to say, Michael. How you doing, though?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So awesome. Can you please tell us about Xbox ID and your great work that you're doing there?
Sure. So essentially, for any independent developer that is hoping to get their game on Xbox, the path to do that is called the ID to Xbox program. It stands for Independent Developers at Xbox. And so today, or throughout the week at Africa Games Week, we're here talking about the process for the developers to actually ship their games on the platform, what they have to do. And we talked about that as a journey, but then we also talked about a program that I lead. It's called the Developer Acceleration Program. And this is a program which is a subset of ID at Xbox. And not only does it help developers actually get their games on the platform, but we're intentional in helping underrepresented teams. And for us, that means developers, which includes a list of developers from underrepresented backgrounds, Black developers, women developers, LGBTQIA plus developers, developers in parts of the world that are underrepresented in game development. So Southeast Asia, India, here in Africa. We are intentionally helping those studios ensure they know the process for bringing their games to the platform. And we're providing opportunities and resources to help them in doing so. And so So the program essentially offers funding to help teams port their titles to Xbox.
Okay.
We offer information to ensure that our teams that are new to shipping on Xbox are not at a disadvantage for lack of experience. And then we're incubating new ideas with our incubation initiative. So we're helping teams develop prototypes that communicate the vision for their titles in hopes of getting funding. But yeah.
It sounds, I mean, I'm just thinking about the thought of porting to Xbox. It sounds intense. It sounds scary. Is it scary to get it? Because I guess Unity makes it like easy kind of for PC, right? I think PC mobile seems kind of fairly straightforward, but now the whole porting and you got to bring what, a dev kit and all that jazz?
Yeah, so historically, ID at Xbox has been around for 10 years. We've helped thousands of developers. Those developers have gone on to earn over $4 billion in royalties. And so it's a well-established program, but anything new is daunting. So for a lot of our new teams are like, hey, what is this process of porting? You know, how do I implement achievements? How do I implement all the features that go along with being a game on Xbox? You know, what about dev kits? And ID at Xbox has been offering access to dev kits for our developers at no cost. And so that's been an aspect of the program. And we're ensuring that developers know we have lots of tools and documentation, but also human beings, you know, who are here to support our teams and ensuring they know how to implement all the, you know, achievements and things to get their game on Xbox.
To get 100%.
Yeah, you got to get, of course, you got to get 100% on all the achievements.
Yeah.
Get all of them. But it can be daunting, man. But we really try to offset the cost. Depending on the porting, you know, depending on the game engine you're using, you know, some of them are a bit easier than others. But we try to make sure that, you know, if you're using your own engine and it's bespoke, you know, like, hey, we want to investigate that, make sure that it can work out well. But if you're using one of the, you know, big named engines that are out there, you know, those are pretty straightforward in most cases for porting games to the platform. But yeah.
What is I'm trying to think, like, what is the sort of criteria? Because I mean, so you have to have made the game yet, finished it, then you have the porting conversation with you guys, or do people come there earlier?
Good question. So it depends on what they're actually applying for. So for ID at Xbox, which is just the parent thing of all of this, we ask people to engage with us as soon as they're ready to share something about their game. You know, the more you have to show, the better. So if you have a build, that's wonderful. But maybe you just have a pitch deck or a gameplay video, whatever it is. We ask that you engage. When you start that conversation, you will trigger a non-disclosure agreement, and you will begin that conversation. And now you'll start getting like things like newsletters. So you're more aware of the things that we're doing. And so we can start having that conversation.
Yeah.
So I always ask teams to engage early so that they know what's available. But I would say if you're interested in like a deal opportunity with a developer acceleration program for, say, a porting deal, you should probably be pretty close to having the PC version of your game done so that we can then talk about porting. But if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm working on a pitch and I really need help with this prototype. Yeah. For that, you don't have to have a build. You can just have like, hey, a solid pitch deck that explains the idea and demonstrated expertise that you can, you know, execute against that idea. Yeah. And so we evaluate at that stage for the prototype initiative.
Okay, I'm trying to think how many people. So you said it's been around for 10 years. So if that's a lot of people, then I imagine that you've helped then, or like worked with.
Xbox, absolutely. I mean, they've helped. I'm blanking on the numbers now, like 5,000 plus. There are more than 3,500 active games in development right now that are coming through the program. But yeah,
3,500 is like so the American 3,500.
Yeah, 3,500.
You got to do the matrix swap. But then, so any game. So if you've got a prototype, you're good to go. If you've got a GDD, you're good to go. How long is the process then normally to get to hear from you? Let's say someone sends you, do they send it to you directly or is like a link?
So anybody hoping to apply for ID at Xbox, you go to xbox.com/ID, and that's where you begin that registration. That's where you do the non-disclosure agreement. That's how you get started. Okay. And then once you've registered with your company, now you'll get a button that says you can pitch your game. So one studio, once they register, they might want to pitch 5 different titles over 10 years or whatever. Okay. So those are separate opportunities. And so you'll be able to pitch your game, talk about those opportunities. And so...
What's the turnaround though? Like if you say you logged in, so today did your thing, are you gonna hear back from you guys like in a week, 10? How does it work?
So if you're just reaching out because you want approval to get your game in the ID at Xbox program and submit it, that's pretty fast. Like there's essentially it's just a concept approval. Like we have to say, hey, this concept is approved or not approved. If it is approved, you get access to more documentation and tools to help you with development. So that's pretty straightforward. For our deals, that's a separate process. So if you're actually requesting funding and some kind of support, that has to go through several other review processes.
Sure.
So our internal stakeholders are looking at it, make sure it's a good fit for the platform, etc. So I'll be honest, like those are, if it's not a good fit, those are situations where we can be kind of quick. You know, we can say, hey, because it doesn't match the criteria, or because maybe there's something here. You know.
I'm sorry for laughing. If you're not a good fit, it's just like the quickness or the pain. Like, nah.
and we try to be quick.
So if you don't hear anything, then it's good.
If it's good, we will say, hey, the next team is now looking at it. And so that's what starts to take the time, is now the next teams are doing their due diligence and checking it out. And they might want to get hands-on with it, and they might want to loop in someone else. So that's the process that can maybe take some time. But it's a good thing because we're just doing our due diligence. So the next time that we follow up, hopefully we have more, either we have questions or maybe we have an opportunity we want to discuss. But,
How big is your team then? I mean, it sounds like it's pretty big network, and I mean, for such a brand like Xbox, I mean, it's humongous.
To consider we're working with thousands of developers, we're actually a pretty small team, man. Like my direct team for the developer acceleration program, and we're 3 people, you know, but ID at Xbox is, you know, more in the ballpark of 10, 15. I mean, we have partners that we work with around Xbox, so but we're a small group of people that are working with a lot of partners out there.
Doing the most.
But we're passionate about it.
No, I mean, it sounds amazing. Like, I'm trying to think about, and I was saying to one of the guys you had Dean. I think Dean's part of your program, right? And you know how it's cool doing stuff for PC and mobile, but like I think people only, or at least maybe say the public, right? They only think you're making a game when you're making a game on console. They're like, is it on Xbox though? You really make games, do you? So I mean, that energy already, I think it already changes how your game, if you get on your program, is viewed. Right? It elevates the attention people get.
That's interesting. I thanks for sharing that. You know, it's interesting because we are now, as we look at the way our players engage and play games, we notice that they like playing across multiple devices. So somebody might start playing a game on their Xbox, but then when they're on the road, they might want to pick up their tablet or their PC or their phone and continue that experience. So we're trying to make sure that our developers are along for that journey too, that we're meeting the players where they want to be, where they want to be. So I don't know if you saw a recent ad campaign of like everything's an Xbox. This is your phone's an Xbox, your PC's
No, I
Xbox.
haven't. No.
So the idea here is your games can transfer across all these devices. You know, and so no longer is it just you got to be at your console. No, you can be right here on the show floor.
But we're gonna keep it for the brand building though. We're gonna say first on Xbox, and then it went to PC, and then it went to mobile. But first, exclusive Xbox exclusive. We put that on the bottom of the.
That's right. Which is also interesting because I've been at Xbox for 12 years, and at one point we did have a lot of like, hey, console exclusive. Now, there's more, interest. We want things to be in Game Pass. We want, that the value that we're adding to Game Pass to be there. But we also, hey, if it means our partners are able to be successful, if they ship on multiple platforms, then that's what I want my partners to do. So ship everywhere you can, if that means success for you, which allows you to ship your next game, which was really important.
But I'm just saying about now, like, the marketing part, because I think it's making the games also it's the one hard part, but then the next part is getting it. And what do you guys have on, like you said, what's it, Game Pass? How do you guys promote these guys that are in this, what do you call it? In the ID program? Do you is there like when someone logs into the Xbox, boom, your ads come up?
So there are a lot of games on the market right now. So it's discoverability is a challenge across the board, not just for independent developers, but for everyone. So we have a number of owned and operated channels where we can help promote games. You talk about, Console Dash, talk about our social media, talk about our blogs, stuff like that. So we support our partners as much as we can. You find the right opportunities. But I always tell my partners, you own your marketing. We can help support and amplify, but we don't own it. So your go-to-market strategy, you provide information to inform you of how to do it, but ultimately you are the owner of that. And we're here to supplement and support you on that journey.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's okay. But I hear you. I mean, it's a support, right? Because even that's the case, you're not like, hey man, go, you little ducky, go. So I guess the support is really important, and it's really amazing. I mean, I think I'm just remembering about the first mobile game I made, and I got support from like Apple. So I know it's a competitive, but it's a mobile game. But that mere fact of that support, it did so much. Right? I remember the support is impactful. Support of any form or shape is impactful. Like downloads go up, interest goes up. So I just want to really thank you, I guess, on behalf of all the indie developers out there grinding to make this dream happen. Like it's pretty awesome that you guys are putting in the work.
Yeah, I think my hat's off to the independent developers that are coming to us with strategies. They're coming to us after already having identified their market and having a connection and a relationship with that community. That makes all of our jobs much easier because we're all in the interest of making sure they have success, that they're reaching that audience. And so for the teams that are out there doing some of this work up front, it just makes the job much easier when it comes to the actual announce or release of that title. But
all right. But wait, so I'm going to use this moment to shameless plug. Did you get a chance to play Kamani the other summer? Yes. And what is your rating out of 5 lion paws? I don't know, just made
it's definitely 5. I made it to level 9, so I don't know how does that rate on your own.
I want to say get good. Get good, yo.
What's the top?
It's 25 waves.
Okay.
Then you fight the boss.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so.
You should have said 10 waves. Then I would have felt great.
So 9 waves is like, you got 15 to go. What is that? Is that a C?
Well, that was my first try.
Yeah,
that was my first try. So
you see.
Yeah.
Shout out. I mean, you keep working at it. I mean, but so you give it a 5 out of 5?
Let's go. I mean, it would have been higher had I gotten to wave 25. Next time.
I think it was a bit. Look, I mean, you know how that developer thing where we play so many times, right? And we just keep ramping the difficulty the wrong way. Yeah. So for me, it's like, let's go back the other way. People give them a chance.
Yeah, you gotta get fresh people in there.
Yeah.
Fresh people, yeah.
But I'm glad. I mean, we'll take the 5 out of 5. So next thing you're gonna see an email on Monday.
Apply to everything.
Hi.
Yeah. Reach out.
All right. No, thank you, man. I think maybe it's just to do a little recap on the socials. It's like you said it's
Xbox.com/ID.
Yep. And then the other program has its you said there were 2, right? The other one is?
So ID at Xbox is the main program.
Okay.
Go to xbox.com/ID. That'll get you registered with your company.
Okay.
And then when you want to pitch your game, you have to first go there and then you have the option.
Oh, there'll be the different paths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said, but then the other one about like development and you mentioned something about like, what is that? You mentioned something about like the development or funding and stuff. That's another.
Yeah, so the Developer Acceleration Program is, so once you do the ID registration, NDA, you have, you can either submit your game for approval or pitch your game for a deal opportunity.
Okay.
That could be Game Pass or Developer Acceleration Program, but it all stems
from there.
The ID
okay, fire. That's process. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. No, man, I think it's really amazing. Shout out for your words of, I think, should I call them pearls?
Sure, man.
Your jewels. But maybe before, actually, I love asking cultural stuff. So you from America?
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Louisiana. I grew up in North Carolina.
So that's like the South, right?
Yeah,
That's all I'm.
South. I'm across the South.
So
absolutely.
Grits and shrimp, and I hope I'm not being
gumbo. Shrimp and grits. Absolutely. Yes.
There's a place in Joburg. It's called. Well, that's why I had like the shrimp and grits. Yeah, for the first time. I don't know if it's authentic.
Yeah.
But it was fire.
Okay.
I don't know. They weren't missing, and I think I got a friend in South Carolina right now, but he's working like in the automotive industry.
Okay. Yeah.
So how is it? Like, what's the? We see that HB. What's it called? HBCU?
HBCU. I went to HBCU.
Did you?
In North
How is the
Carolina.
vibe? How is that?
So I went to North Carolina A&T State University. Amazing school.
Were you in those marching bands?
Yeah, I wasn't in the marching band, but we had a movie made about our marching band.
Oh, heck.
Drumline, which is loosely based on the school that I went to.
The one with, who's the Drumline? Not a Mario, though.
No, it was
Who's in drum
Nick
line?
Cannon.
Nick Cannon,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out, hectic,
yeah.
okay.
But so attending that school for me, growing up, especially in the South, and a lot of times you're in predominantly white spaces in the States. And so going to HBCU, I felt a sense of pride and connection to my people that goes beyond any of the stereotypes that you hear in the news.
Yeah.
And you see Black people at all walks of life. You see the ones who are very, about their business and scholars. And you see people who are, maybe just more athletic, or you just see the full gamut of people.
Yeah.
And that's freeing because you realize I don't have to be the token person. I can just be myself.
Oh, you have to represent everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the same feeling I get when I come to the continent. I feel like, hey, I don't have to code switch. I can actually just be James.
Oh, dope,
because there's
man.
somebody else being themselves.
Yeah,
You're being
yeah.
yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm just free to be who I am. And that's a freeing thing to have, man.
I hope you guys are getting that, But then maybe about is there diaspora connection? Because I think it's pretty hard. I think it's we're talking about Africa, right? Because I remember speaking to another American, and I use a blanket term Africa, but then it's then she brought up but what about the diaspora? And but this using Africa as a blanket term to capture everyone is also another tough element of this thing.
I personally, over the last few years, I've been able to travel a bit more. I feel more connected. Last year was my first trip to the continent. I went to Nigeria, and then I was able to come here to Africa Games Week last year. And for me, I felt such a sense of connection, even though I don't know where my ancestors are from, which country specifically. I felt connected to all the countries that I visited.
Yeah.
In fact, I also went to Brazil last year, and there's a large, just Afro-Brazilian community. So, there's the diaspora expands to Brazil. I felt connected to the people there.
Oh, hectic.
So just seeing that sense of, it's hard to put your finger on it. It's hard to articulate. But there's just a feeling of we're connected and we belong.
Okay.
And that's just such a nice feeling to have, man.
Man, okay. I'm thinking about Brazil. I think the most African population outside of Africa, or something like that. So
Is Brazil?
So that's intense.
Yeah.
But I'm but then did you have that feeling before you left the continent? Before you left America? Did you feel not a connection, or a yearning for the connection? I don't know.
I think I was hoping for a connection. I always wanted to visit the continent. And so it was in my mind. I was like, I want to do that someday. And then when I actually came here, I'll be honest, when I went home, I felt like my chin went like this. And I was just holding my head higher. Because I felt a sense of pride and confidence, because I wasn't this orphan or whatever, but there were roots that I was connected to. And so that meant a lot to me. And I had the same feeling in Brazil. So in America, you long for it. There's a quote that stands out. James Baldwin said, to be African American is to be American without the privilege and African without the memory. Maybe I'm butchering it.
No, it sounds hard though.
But it is true, And so, because when you come here, it's there's such these rich connections. I just don't fully grasp and even understand all of it. But I've been learning a lot, and it's been great, man.
No, man, that's amazing. And I hope. I'm hoping maybe these we'll see with Hiru. Maybe it'll spark. When it comes out, and then people in the diaspora are okay. That's how Kenya's coming out, that's Maasai. And it might spark that energy in a different way.
And for people in the States, when they're seeing these different games come out, people are eager and hungry for it. In the same way with, in Black Panther, it's a full of, kind of a cliche thing. But that was such a huge moment.
But it's a real thing.
And people were really hungry and thirsty for that moment. And so the more stories that are being told from the continent that are reaching a global audience, I think there are people that are eager for those, because I think these stories are, not only are they locally resonant, but they're going to be globally relevant. These are human stories. These are stories that we can all connect to. And so I'm excited to see more games come out.
Well, they're wrapping me up, but I wanted to share this. I had, when I went to America, I was like, when I get there, when I kiss the ground, we care so much of your culture. Flip, man, I've been growing up on 50, I'm growing up on everything, and I'm finally hearing New York, man.
I love it.
But shout out, really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much,
and
man.
everything you're doing, man.
It's awesome. Awesome.
All right, sweet. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.